So I found our speaker today, who's speaking. I didn't find her today. I found our speaker when I was looking for artwork to align with this year's theme, New Earth Rising. And I came across her book of the same title, New Earth Rising. So I said, I have to write this woman and see if she would be willing to speak for this year's summit. And I'm so glad that she did. So Shannon MacDonald is an author, Divine Feminine Life Guide, spiritual healer, Oracle of the Light, and her latest book is New Earth Rising. She radiates channel transmissions from higher consciousness about Earth's fractured timeline and the approaching ascension. Shannon offers ascension code activations and helps others remember their soul purpose and activate their Starseed Mission. So with that, Shannon, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dawn. That was a wonderful introduction. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate being here today with all of your viewers. I appreciate how you found me through your just being divinely guided.
Yes. Yeah. It was really a beautiful connection when I first reached out to you, and I thought, I hope she's not going to be upset that I've named this, it's a summit after her, with the same name as her book, but it's been a beautiful connection. So.
Oh my gosh. It's warming up that way, I think, for the world. I was talking to my daughter about this video interview this morning, and she was saying, New Earth, Mom, is that a thing? This is my daughter, asking me this. She's my
thing?
A thing? I was like, yeah, it's a thing, hun.
That's
very
great.
Open to what I had to say about it,
Great. How old is she?
She's 35.
Oh, wow. You're old enough to have a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Okay, well, let's dive in there then. Would you share with us a little bit about your life journey that brought you to being a channel of divine consciousness, and actually when you figured that out or realized that?
Oh boy, it has been a journey, and I will say that it's something that I have been doing since childhood, but I didn't know I was doing it. I was always connecting with nature and the birds and the trees, and in my imagination, who am I speaking with? What is being said, through the voice of my heart. And it wasn't until I met my husband several years ago, who's a medium and a psychic, so that is very nice for me. And I started reading him some of my poetry, and I started telling him about these feelings that I have with this interaction with Mother Nature and divine consciousness and source energy. And he said, "Oh, you channel." I was like, okay, well, I've been a nurse for 28 years, or back then it was 25 or 24 years. And it wasn't something that really registered with me until he brought that to my attention. And he said, I think that you could start cultivating that. I said, well, okay, Well, how do I cultivate that? How do I know it's just not my imagination speaking? How do I know I'm not having these crazy thoughts? I had to hide that part of myself from most people for most of my life. And here I have this wonderful man who's now my husband who's saying, cultivate it, do it. And I'm okay, well, sit with yourself, listen within. What is coming through? Most of my transmissions in the early days, the early years were through writing.
Yeah.
Because for me, it wasn't as inhibiting. It flowed like a poem or a story. And then as I learned to cultivate and open up my throat chakra and speak my truth, then I really learned how to emanate that vibration of source energy. So that's just, it's in a nutshell. There's a lot of developing and opening and believing in myself. I mean, that's so important. It's just that belief, that transcending that, all of those programs that we have within us that we can't do this. And anybody can. It's not, there's nothing special about me at all.
I think this is a beautiful entry into this conversation because these are some of the gifts that we're probably going to come online for a lot more of us. They already are as we make our ascension further into this new earth. And just quickly, for me, I realize now that I've been channeling for years because there's certain, but writing. I've been a professional writer for years, and so I've honed that tool. And for me, anyway, I can look at my personal writing and then these channel transmissions, and it's very clearly not the personality Dawn. And I'm at that point where I'm just starting to trust my own voice and doing some, I don't do that much public channeling yet, but with my inner sort of group private community, I do sometimes Divine Mother comes through, and sometimes in these as well.
And I've seen your videos, which are beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's what I find is there's a surrender aspect too. That I literally, if I try and control it in any way, even if I'm questioning it, it's like pinching the hose. If you've got water going through a hose, it's like bending it. I have to completely surrender and allow it to come through. And when I fully surrender, it can come through with a lot of power and strength, I've noticed.
Right. Surrender and courage.
Yeah.
Because so many of us don't have this belief, and it takes that courage, especially when you're using your voice for these transmissions.
Yes.
I often remember, and I think we were talking about this before we recorded, but I have to remind myself all the time, because I am human in this human physical body, that it's not about me. This is about my mission and my message. And not even my mission, the mission. And the
mission and the message. Yeah, that's such an important point, and that's part of the surrender and courage. It's like I do a prayer before I get on calls with my clients. Please, Divine Mother, guide, speak through me. Let me get out of the way and be in highest service to my sister or sisters if it's a group. And when we really connect in the heart in that way, I believe it's possible to bring forward stuff. It's when the ego starts getting in the way that we have, things get wonky. So I'm curious about, how do you communicate with divine consciousness? Like, what's your process or experience? Because I am sure there are many sisters who are listening to this who are either wanting to channel, are channeling and they don't realize it, or are channeling and they do realize it and are curious about how others experience it.
Oh, okay. There's so much I could say about that. But first of all, I'd just like to start with, for me, it's important to know who or what I am contacting, who or what I am having this two-way transmission conversation with. Because it's important for me to put that intention out, only source energy, only divine consciousness, only benevolent beings. Only the love light, of eternal truth, that type of thing. I think that's very important. And second of all, because I think there's a lot of people that just channel and it's like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
They really don't know or don't understand. And some of it feels good and some of it doesn't. But I always set myself in some sort of a meditative prayer-like state. I always drop into my heart. And then the communication comes not in words, but through feeling. Through feeling. It's this beautiful transmission of love and energy. And the words are beyond our human language. I think you can understand that being a channel yourself. So what I do as an interpreter is I've had to learn over the years. And that's why writing at first was so nice, because I didn't have to filter it with my brain. I would just write. And, this is beautiful poetry. Oh, this is so nice. Oh, this makes me feel so good. And then after I realized I'm channeling, it's like, okay, why can't I use my voice as well? Or radiate it from my being. Channeling isn't only just speaking and writing. It's also just radiating those, I call it codes of interactive consciousness, divine consciousness, but to help people awaken and activate. And that's a whole nother question.
Right. And codes of interactive consciousness. Well, we could go there. Let's go there a little bit. Explain that phrase.
Well, in the book that I wrote, and really I didn't write. It was a channeled book, New Earth Rising, Starseed Transmissions for Activation, Awakening, and Ascension. And that was a compilation of channeled writings that I did over the years, which I didn't know it was going to become a book until I was doing some connecting with divine consciousness one day, and benevolent beings from multidimensional consciousness. Yeah, I just said that. and I realized it was supposed to be put into a book. Excuse me. So the important thing about this is I, as a person, as a human being on this earth, I'm a vessel for awakening, for ascension, for radiating what I call the codes of interactive consciousness, codes of awakening. It's just, whatever human language we want to put on it, helping others raise their frequency, raise their vibrations, rise above the fear and programming-based consciousness into this universal truth, this remembrance of this light, love, beauty, truth of who we are as eternal beings of infinite creation. So that's what the codes help people with. And like I said, there's nothing special about me. I just know that this is what my mission is. This is what I am here to do. So everybody has their own gifts and their way of helping activate and awaken others.
Beautiful. So let's go further into the whole New Earth Rising and what that means to you. And if you would, share a little bit about what New Earth Rising or New Earth Ascension means to you, but also what are the most important things for our listeners to know or to do to prepare for this ascension process? Or maybe we're already in it, so to ride these waves of ascension, if you will.
Okay. There's many layers in that question.
Yeah.
But I think that one of the most important things we can do, and I already talked about this just a minute ago, was rising above our fear program, limitation-based consciousness. The channelings that I've received, our timeline has been hijacked, and we have been diverted from our natural evolution of where we should be right now, or where we could be right now, right? I think we're always where we should be, but where we could be and where we're going. So letting go of your beliefs is one of the most important things, or not maybe necessarily letting go, but questioning your beliefs. Asking yourself, is this true? And how do I know? Because just because you saw it on the TV or social media, or your neighbor down the street, or your husband or your wife or your best friend told you, a lot of us have this way of just following what we're told.
Yeah.
When in reality, we know the truth within us. When we check in with ourselves and we say, how does this make me feel? Do I feel like I'm in this, I call it the vibration of love or fear? Do I feel like I feel compassionate and loving and non-judgmental and kind towards someone? Or does this make me feel afraid and negative and hopeless and helpless? And so just really discerning those two ways of thinking and patting yourself on the back when you're catching yourself in that vibration.
Yes.
Because we all go there every day. There's not a person I don't know that doesn't. So we catch ourselves and we allow ourselves to get back on track, question our beliefs, just question what you know, and unfollow. I like to say unfollow the fear. Unfollow the fear.
Awesome. Unfollow. Beautiful. This is the distinction between fear and love, and I want to speak into this a little bit about the hijacked timelines. That it seems to me that fear is the strategy, the tactics, and the weapon of hijacking human consciousness, the divine human, such that we have descended in to a low place of self-awareness that we're desensitized and hyper activated on fear, like that chronic stress, now it's fear. I mean, we're in 2 years of pumping it out. So obviously there's ways to relinquish that. I mean, like stop watching the TV, which I've done years ago. But I'm wondering if you have any insights into how you work with people, or the guidance that's come through about how we sort of reclaim or redirect or re-engage the ascension timeline, and what that could look like as we move forward.
Well, unfollowing the fear is a big one. Questioning your beliefs is another one. Asking yourself, this is true. But also, I think it's really important for us to get back to our roots as far as remembering the truth of who we are. When we remember this truth, okay, and people ask me, well, how do I do that?
Yeah.
Do that because you are that. You know, you are the queen of your creations. You are the king of your creations. You know, we are, and our word is our wand. And I always tell people, use your words wisely, because they have so much influence on your creations in life. And I also think that your feelings are your future. Okay, how you feel, how you relate, how you interact with the vibrations of love or the vibrations of fear really helps. It's this whole law of attraction and action. I wrote a book called Mastering Manifestation, and it really brings that whole love energy, fear energy into alignment when we remember this truth of who we are and how we can stay aligned with that higher part of ourselves. Did that answer your question?
Yeah,
going on and on here.
I think there's. I think a lot of the sisters who are here are really. We've already been working on. Who will be listening to this? Already been working on that. Unfollowing the fear, not watching the TV, not believing necessarily everything that's being shown. But we do still have some people who, either through early childhood trauma or multiple incarnational patterning at the soul level, so soul trauma, soul fragmentation, who literally cannot or have not yet cleared enough karmic detritus to be able to truly trust that they are divine, loved, that their intuition is guiding them, all of that. And I'm not sure if there's a question here. I'm just recognizing how challenging the journey has been for some of us.
Yes. And that's exactly why the viewers that are watching today are here, because they're supposed to be here. Yeah. People, ask me all the time, between the services that I offer, I don't know which service to get because you offer 3 different ones. And I say, you'll know by how you feel. You'll know. And so many of us have lost that intuition, that inner touch with whatever decisions that we're making in life. But yes, I understand that many of your viewers have already been on that. They've gone through this law of attraction, and they've gone through the work, and they've gone through. But how do they get to that next level? That next level is breaking through that barrier of your own limitations, your own beliefs, questioning your beliefs. I can't tell you how important that is to question what you think you believe. Look beyond what you think you see. Look through the eyes of your soul. It's easy for me to say those words, but I do know that there's a resonant vibration, even in this, and a resonant energetic vibration between this exchange that we're having. So a lot of people are looking for intellectual ways to rise above, when we forget that there are energetic ways for us to rise above. Yeah,
that it comes to the feelings, that our feelings are that's our guidance system. I want to just touch on something you said, our word is our wand. Now, as a writer of many years, of course, I really resonate with the power of this. And I'm amazed still to hear people say, there's certain words that I just don't have in my vocabulary, like hate. it's rare when I hear that come out of my mouth and I almost want to catch it and put it back.
Yeah, right.
If it comes, I have to be extremely frustrated. Also, things like, I love her to death. Oh, please don't love me like that.
Exactly.
Like these kinds of
People
things.
don't realize what they're saying.
Yeah. And I think that level of self-awareness too, as maybe it seems a little Virgoan or too little particular. No, but really the word, think about it. We spell words. And words, I always say, if you take the word words and you take that S and you put it at the front, it's a sword. We really we are commanding our reality with what we say. So if one is struggling with even being able to tune into, what do I really feel? What do I really believe? What are my beliefs? Not even being yet ready to reflect like that. We could start with, what am I saying out loud? And then what am I saying to myself?
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I'd like to add to that as well. If people are looking for, how to get to that next level of awakening, awareness, ascension, to really remember that your viewers here, they wouldn't be here if they didn't have some sort of if they weren't light workers, they didn't have a Starseed mission, if they weren't, the priestess walking the priestess path, all of that, and wisdom keepers. And so it's just so important for us to know, and I think we touched on this earlier, that it's not about me. It's not about us. I am here to serve. I am here to serve. And I wake up every morning with that. That's my prayer. And as I go throughout my day, my prayer is how may I be the goddess I know I am. How may I serve? How may the words of the goddess, the word of divine consciousness, come through me to serve, to complete this mission that I've started.
Beautiful. Oh, that is gorgeous. Thank you. There's two other things sort of tickling around I want to touch on here. One is, does everyone have a Starseed mission? What do you think about that?
I'd love to say yes, but then that would mean that I know everything. And I don't. Well, my mind doesn't. I do. This divine in me does. So I do believe that there are people here that are just here to experience life. And maybe they don't necessarily need to go about and help humanity harmonize and heal, right? Most of us here on this workshop or on this call are here for just that. So I'm speaking to those, the light workers, the priestesses, the goddesses, these people that are here, that they have a mission. Now, I call it a Starseed mission just because that just resonates with me. But I believe that everyone has, most people have, at least if you're in this line of spirituality like we are, we have a universal cause. There's a reason for us to be here during this time. Yeah. Great upheaval, not just to witness or experience, but to participate in this mission that we have to raise this consciousness for our ascension to new Earth. So I'd like to say that I think that all of the viewers will be able to resonate with, I mean, I think I have a mission. I may not know what it is, but I think I do. Yeah, I work with a lot of sisters who have that feeling. It's like, what is my mission? What is my purpose? I know I'm here for a reason, but I don't know what it is. And I think one of the things that sometimes I've seen sisters get stuck in is and maybe that's just because of who I know based on what I do here. And it looks like I have this huge platform, but what I have is a huge project every year to feature all the rest of you. But it's this idea of like that my mission has to look like an entrepreneurial success story. Oh boy, I hear what you're saying there. Yeah, would you speak into that a little bit about how does one fulfill their Starseed mission or find it out and then fulfill it? First of all, I've had to learn, after taking my ego out of it and taking my own wants and desires, I would love to, be mega famous and have everyone know about me. And, but then I realized it's like, Okay, that's that ego part of me. That's reining myself in and letting divine consciousness use me as the vessel. I lost my train of thought. What did you say right before? What was your question right before that?
Well, like how does one fulfill their Starseed mission, and how do they know? How do they find out what it is if they feel like I've got a reason, I don't know what it is?
Yeah, I can tell you how I found out, because I don't know how everyone finds out. But the way I found out was because I was led to it. It's like this driving force. I need to help people awaken. I need to help people become aware. I need to help people question their limiting beliefs and their self-sabotaging habits. I need to help people remember this love, light, beauty, and truth of who they are. And when you have that fire within you, when you feel that fire, at least for me, it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, this is it. This is what I am supposed to do. Whether it's through my writing or my services or just smiling at somebody at the grocery store. So people diminish what their missions are. They think it has to be some huge platform, and it doesn't. Right. We can be happy with influencing our neighborhood or our home or our family, our world. It's so important because we're all in this connected chain of harmonizing consciousness together, rising and lifting consciousness together. And some of us are famous and some of us aren't. Some of us are, but we get this opportunity. And so just knowing that, and I love helping women find that, as you do, connect with that. And once they do, it's like they realize it's that pressure's been taken off, because they see that, I'm already doing it. I'm already being the light. Yeah. When you know you are the light, then you've found your mission.
Ah, beautiful. When you know you are the light, you've found your mission. And all else unfolds from there based on your unique soul signature, I would say.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes, that's a great way to put it.
So let's pivot just a little bit and talk about the ascension process. Why is that important? What do you see that being? I mean, I think we've already been touching on it, but just to kind of bring it home to that process, what is the ascension, and what do you see as the new Earth? Or maybe it's even just some snippets or visions.
Well, I do know that there are so many different ways to describe ascension. And there are so many different ways to believe ascension. So I'll tell you what my process is, what my belief is, what I see and envision and hold in my heart. For me, ascension is really no different than raising our collective and unified consciousness. It is, as I said before, dropping that rising above that fear-based limitation belief mentality or reality, and actually right now we are undergoing through this shifting timeline, and it is starting to reorganizing back to where it's supposed to be, where it was initially intended to be before our timeline was hijacked by the fear-based programs and control processes. So as far as rising to ascension is, I really believe that it comes from individually from within us as we connect and embrace others. It doesn't mean you need to believe what other people believe, but there's so much infighting right now. There's this huge division. I call it the war on consciousness right now. There's a huge war on consciousness going on right now. And as we learn how to embrace each other's differences and rise above those limiting beliefs and really raise our awareness, we have the ability to activate our awareness, our own awareness within us, to rise up and jump back into that unified, harmonious timeline that we had before the fall of consciousness.
Beautiful.
There's so much more I could say about that, and to me it seems so easy, but it's not when we have this infighting going on and separation and control and division and hate and fear and all, that hate word, right? That fear. So looking beyond that and unifying our hearts together. So, and we do it one person at a time, one soul at a time.
Yes, that is the paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've said this before in some of the other interviews, that there's this, we've all been raised, unless you're very, very young or had very, very conscious parents, the vast majority of us have been raised to believe that we are living in a basically a dead universe in which everything has its own discrete and separate parts. It's the belief in separation, to use the terms from the Course in Miracles. Mm-hmm. And that we have to move things around in the world and make changes out there if we want to see change. And if we don't have the consciousness of the unified field of the love of the oneness, then all of that is just moving chairs around the deck of the Titanic. We're still headed for the iceberg of fear and hate. So unfollowing fear, I love that. That's just a really great one, which to me translates as, first of all, turn off the news.
Right.
It's lies. It's not news. I
haven't watched the news in over 7 years. And I'm talking about, I believe in information. I don't believe in news. News is negative, excludes, weakens, and separates.
Ooh.
I have actually a book titled The No News Diet. So it's a tiny book. But yeah, it was just, it was just one of those things where not people have a tendency to think, oh, you don't watch the news. Like, how do you don't know? And it's like, no, I know things.
Yeah.
News.
Yeah, we're on the internet. Yeah. What else was I going to say? So the news. Where was I going to go with that? I forgot. Okay. So unfollowing the fear, the hatred, the divisiveness, which is all intentional to keep us in low vibration so that we don't ascend. The idea that if we have to act out in the world to make change. Now, sometimes, and there are some people there is their mission, and there are things to be done for sure.
The activists, my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, but if their alignment is with fear, hate, and attack,
right,
then activism will come to naught.
And that's so
activism has to be rising from true love for humanity, true care. And there's such a noticeable difference in that energy. But I think also this idea, sometimes the activism or the moving the chairs around the Titanic is like everybody has to believe and do X, Y, Z in order for change. But what we're all coming to understand is that one person in very high frequency love light activation, which is what I call it, is more powerful than 1,000 or maybe 10,000 people in that, groveling around in hate and negatude. So we don't need every single person to be on a Starseed mission, if you will.
No, it's that critical mass that we're looking for, and that critical mass of awakening, activation. And we all do it in our own ways. I call it awakening and activation, but somebody else might call it higher resonance, or communing with the divine or something, just to know that they are radiating that light. We are all radiating the light to some way, shape, or form, right? Some of us radiate it more than others, and some of us are more in tune and aware with that. But as we become more in tune and aware with that, then our Starseed missions or whatever mission that you have is more easily present and known within you.
Yeah.
And other people will see it too. Other people notice.
See it or sense it absolutely. So I'm curious, I have one last question, then we'll go into your activation or your transmission that you're going to share with us. Do you have any visions, impressions of what New Earth may feel like, look like, be experienced as?
Well, it's funny you asked that. I'm been writing this book called The Other Side of Ascension.
Ooh.
It's not out yet. I probably shouldn't even said this title because
I love I love New Earth Rising, by the way. I read the book, excellent book. So I'm looking forward to this one, whatever the title ends up being.
But the reason why it's so funny because it's coming to me just slowly in waves. And it's another one of those things where I'm having to really check in with myself and say, how do I know this? How do I know this is what the other side of Ascension looks like? And it's the same way I wrote New Earth Rising. It's like I need to trust, I need to open, I need to just surrender, right? So what I believe that it's not necessarily a place. It's a how. It's a why. It's a what. It's the right now, as we are going through this ascension process, and we're still in this 3D physical form reality, and our light bodies are activating within us. We are becoming either some of us are rising and becoming lighter and activating, those divine codes of consciousness, and others are choosing either karmically, energetically, or for whatever reasons, to stay in those lower vibrations. Mm-hmm. And that's perfectly fine. Maybe not everyone is ready or supposed to ascend. Okay. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be this big, change, this huge, stars and trumpets and, everything. Yeah. Right. But I do hold in my heart that what ascension looks like is harmonious, unified field, transparency, progress, compassion, where we're working together, where we're uniting together, where we're dropping our fears, dropping our judgments. Actually, the fear-based mentality is a thing of the past. That's what we're working for. That's the limitation, the control-based paradigms are a thing of the past. And sometimes, as right now where we are from our viewpoint, it's really hard to know what that looks like.
Yes.
Right? I mean, how do we envision that world? This sounds like this utopia. And in reality, it is. Because we're still living in this vibration of the fall of consciousness. Yeah. Ascension is rising in our consciousness, rising to this brand new experience of Earth. And I don't know what it looks like exactly, but I can feel it. I know it's there. I know it's just like it's right there. And it's probably just, energetically, multidimensionally, whatever, right? Parallel reality, whoever knows what that is, right there, just waiting for us. And I do know that during my meditations, I go there a lot. I go there and I feel it and I see it and I sense it and I love it. And I think that we can all do that. We're shifting into this new Earth reality together.
Ooh, I'm excited now. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard for us to imagine because we've been so down in the muck of fear-based programming, but we can get those little inklings of when we feel sparks of joy, of happiness, of excitement, of possibility. And if we were to, again, unfollow the fear so that it doesn't come in and go, oh, that'll never happen, or whatever it says, whatever your unique little, mind says, and just allow ourselves to open even more to what's possible there, even if it's just a feeling tone.
Yes, and allow yourself, I would invite your viewers to allow themselves to take a journey within their hearts and their imaginations, and to just allow themselves to feel what that feels like. The more we can put ourselves in that vibration of that imagination creation is what I like to call it. Like our imagination just has so much reality creating potentials. And the more we can put ourselves there in that good feeling and the good vibes and imagining how this new Earth reality looks like, we actually are helping pave the way for the others that are still not at that level of that vibrational awareness.
Right, right. Beautiful. Wow, we can go on, and I know I want to honor your time and everyone else's time. So you've got a guided transmission for us. So I'm going to mute myself now and just take it away.
All right. So first I'd like to invite you and the viewers just to, let's drop into our hearts together for a moment. And breathe. We're going into this place of activated awareness. This is our goddess. This is our knowingness. This is the truth, the remembrance of our lost heritage of light, the song of love, the face of grace. And we go deeper into our remembrance, and we remember the truth of our goddess within. As you listen to my voice, there's an activation within you. And this activation comes from the divine goddess herself, flowing through me to reach you through this realm of eternal truth, infinite light, and pure presence of divinity itself. Breathing together, flowing together, rising together, we feel this release. The release of our programmed consciousness, the release of our fears, the release of our doubts, the release of hopelessness and helplessness. We release it all and we surrender that back to Earth to be absorbed and recycled. And we rise our consciousness. We go within and we remember more. We remember deeper. We see the love, light, beauty, and truth of who we are as eternal beings of infinite creation. This is you. You are the goddess. You are the universe in motion. You are creation in form. As we remember this activation within us expands, enlightens our awareness with a deeper knowingness of ascension and what this means to radiate the codes of awakening. Yes, my dear sisters, you are this. And all you need to do is remember. Remember this love. Remember this time. Remember that you flow within the spaces of eternal truth and divine guidance. Know that your higher knowing is there to lead you, to guide you, to help you, to assist you with anything. Just remember this truth. Hold this light within you. Invite this light to radiate from you and to help others receive these codes of awakening. Yes, you are the goddess, the divine feminine healer, love and light. As you remember your Starseed mission, there is nothing that you cannot do or be or conquer in your life. You speak your truth, and your voice is strong. Your mind is clear. And you know who you are. You remember you are the goddess. You can always return here to this place. You just place your hands on your heart and you breathe and you go within the spaces of a time and eternity. You return to the home of your origins before the fall of consciousness, before we forgot who we are. We are the divine, loving warriors of wisdom and light and creation. We are this, and we will rise with the ascension of New Earth, and we will meet together on this other side of ascension, and we will say, yes, it was good, and yes, we did our job, and we remembered, and we will continue to remember and hold that light for others until the timeline has been restored and we are back to where our love and light leads the way always. Breathe this in and say it is so. And remember that your word is your wand. You are the queen of your creations, and your feelings carry the reality and the truth of your future. I thank the divine goddess, and I'm thankful for being here now. Take a minute or a few moments to just settle within that transmission. And when you're ready, open your eyes and remember who you are.
Thank you. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. What a beautiful gathering and conversation and transmission. Shannon has a free gift for you. You can find the link on this page and in the email. Shannon, did you have any final words, either about your free gift or just generally any final thoughts?
Well, thank you again, Dawn. This has been more than wonderful. The free gift is an ebook download called "How to Find Inner Peace," and that's at divinityspeaks.com//gift.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.